Alright, alright, alright. Everything should be in order. Almost. And I think we can get this thing started. Pretty excited about that. As usual, I don't know what it is. I can't seem to ever... I gave myself an hour to prepare for the live stream this time. And I feel like I'm still behind. And all I need to do is like make some text files and queue up some videos. It really shouldn't be a lot of work. So what have I missed? Azzy's out of order? You'll be Alt F4 in the live stream for F1. Oh! Interrupting the Foo Fighters marathon for the live stream. I'm eternally grateful for that. I know what that marathon means to you. We had some people fighting over first. Possible Foo Fighter request next month. Johnny's going to be in and out. I suppose it's being in and out's better than not being at all. It's been a couple of weeks since you showed up to the live streams, if I remember correctly. Haven't had as many comments about the production on stuff. Let me know my headphones are garbage for imaging. Alright, let's get this rolling. How many people we got in here right now? Alright. Probably got a couple stragglers. Hey, Signips, welcome. It is just right now 11. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes before we go ahead and start, but I'm going to pull up some of this stuff just to make it look all nice and professional. Alright. Still have never had an In-N-Out. I hear they're fantastic, but I don't know. Alright. Let's dive into this. We got some Dawes, or just Dawes. Not quite sure on that one. The request comes in from Fear the Old Blood. Here's a nice rock ballad by a band called Dawes. They're like a modern Jackson Browne or Warren Zevon. On the edge of becoming cheesy, but it's performed with such earnest it works, at least for me. So, let's dive into that and see what's going on. Never heard of this group. Song's called A Little Bit of Everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dawes.
Oh, Dawes. That is a very familiar line.
With his back against the San Francisco traffic, on the bridge's side that faces towards the jail, setting out to join a demographic, he hoists his first leg up over the rail. Then a phone call's made and police cars show up quickly, and the sheriff slams his passenger door.
Maybe.
He says, "Hey kid, why don't you talk through this with me?"
Funny enough though, this entire song so far is hitting a familiarity chord with me, and I don't quite know what it is. It could just be that it's pretty standard singer-songwriter, piano and vocal kind of thing.
It's the death of my first dog.
But like even the chord progressions are super familiar to me.
It's a song that they don't sing. It's a little bit of everything.
Okay. Ooh, tossing in some jazzy things there.
An older man who stands in a the buffet line.
I think it's interesting that the spicy chords didn't come in until the vocals were
And he's
done,
holding out his plate.
keeping the chords rather simple while the lyricist is, or the vocalist is going.
Back into his timeline. That hard road always led him to today. He's making up for when his bright future just left him. He's making up for the fact that his only son is gone, and letting everything out once his server asks him, have you figured out yet what it is you want? I'll have a little bit of everything, the biscuits and the beans, whatever helps me to forget about these things that brought me to my knees. So pile on those mashed potatoes, and how about an extra chicken wing? 'Cause I'll be having a little bit of everything.
Drums are super loud. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. I mean, that might be
Somewhere
it.
a pretty girl is writing invitations for her wedding that she has scheduled in the fall.
More like an older country,
Her
like a
man
2000s
walks in and
country
says,
though.
"Baby, could I just make one quick observation? You don't seem to be having any fun at all."
Not the modern pop country stuff.
She says, well, you could just worry about your groomsmen and your shirt size, and rest assured that this is making me feel good. I think that love is so much easier than we realize. If you can give yourself to someone, then you should. 'Cause it's a little bit of everything. The way you laugh, the way you wake. It's getting up way before you, so I
could
just
see that.
sit there and watch
I
you
could
as
see
you
that.
wake. So on that day in late September, it's not just some stupid little ring. I'll be getting a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of everything. It's the matador and the bull. It's the suggested daily dosage. It's the red moon when it's full. All these psychics and these doctors, they're all right and they're all wrong. It's like trying to make out every word when they should simply hum along. It's not some message written in the dark or some truth that no one's seen. It's just a little bit of everything. Thank you.
So yeah, I enjoyed that on like the narrative level. I think there is, I mean, it's a typical like story-based song, but I think it had some really interesting like down-to-earth ideas. Like the metaphor was just about ordering at at a restaurant and realizing that life is, life's a lot. So just kind of have a little bit of everything, try what you can out of life. But it said something like, oh, on the edge of becoming cheesy, but performed with earnest. Yeah, like, I think that is perfect, because there were a couple of moments when I chuckled, and, like, I kind of felt bad, because I feel like they're not doing this tongue-in-cheek. It's very close to them, and they're really going for a serious vibe, but, I mean, there were a couple of lines that just felt super cheesy, which I guess is just the best word for that. And, Yeah, I think that's the best thing I can say about it. I like the screenshots. What screenshots? The info, the requester info. Yeah. I started doing that last week, man. You missed out. Or not last week, 2 weeks ago. Last week we didn't do one. Yeah. Small upgrade, but huge quality of life fix. Really helps me speed things up now. I suppose the reason they're cheesy was because their topic is, I mean, the topic is kind of cheesy. I mean, it's just talking about how there's a lot of life, so grab life by the horns. Which, I mean, even that is kind of cliche and cheesy as a mantra, but I also like the way they went about it, just so homely, so down to earth too, which I think just kind of adds a cheese factor in because like when we listen to music or when we read poetry, at least for me, I typically get into the mindset of extraordinary. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, I gotcha. And to have like these just very down to earth metaphors rather than saying life is large, so let's go larger than life kind of vibe, which is what I think a lot of people would kind of err towards. And like to me that just seems a bit odd. I do want to hear the rest of the band in maybe less of a vocal oriented style. The pianist is he seems to be really good. I really didn't get much of an ear for some of the more technical aspects, but adding in those spicy chords every once in a while shows me that at least to me he sounds to me like he's more of a jazz piano player who ended up in this more country vibe and brings that jazz background when he can. And even some of the guitar work had some nice little flourishes to it when they played. Really didn't get a lot of chance. So I understand that this was probably more of a showcase of their songwriting, or sorry, their story writing, their lyric writing, and just kind of showcasing a little bit of their emotive element. But I also hear like these little inklings of really great instrumental performance as well that just didn't get to shine through in this song specifically, which is fine. Song diversity is important, but that is something I would be looking for if I checked out another track from them. Interestingly, it says live with Chris Thile. I wonder who Chris Thile is. Because that makes me think that somebody in the band was being featured or, showed up as a secondary person. I don't know how to phrase that. Unless it's saying that the live performance was hosted by Chris Thile, like the Tonight Show with some dude, right? It's not they're not a featured guest. They're the host of it. I don't know. They remind me of 10cc for some reason. I think that one might just be you. 10cc's hyperpop, isn't it? I was not getting any hyperpop in this at all. So, I mean, I'm sure you have your reasons for that, maybe, but I'm not making that connection. That's for sure. So next up we have some Bellacore from Scythe to Sceptre. Oh, I'm thinking of 100 Gex. Never mind. Oh man. So we got some Donner Womp says no specific reason. I just like this song, and you know what? I can respect that. I really can. If I had to select some songs, I don't think I'd have any reasons behind it. It'd just be like, I dug this. I listened to it this week, and I enjoyed it. So now it's your turn. So let's dive into this. From Scythe to Sceptre. Starting off real strong here. Hey, welcome! Yeah, I love the way that they line that up. Yeah, that shift from emphasizing the eighth notes to doing groupings of 3 on it. Just this, not the last track in it. Oh yeah. Very interesting. Yeah, huge shift there. So yeah, this is Mellow Death. I'm digging this. You're gonna have to elaborate on that because I listened for it and I didn't. Oh, they echoed everywhere. I missed it then. I'm gonna keep an ear out. Yeah. I could do with a little bit more movement, something outside of the loop, but I'm digging the groove. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Really nice transition there. hitting that growl. Interesting. I expected a run at the end of the phrase. Yeah, use staccato to make it more syncopated. Yeah, it is, right? I hope they put on one... we don't have time for one more layer, I don't think. Well, I mean, we do. It's just not what I was expecting. All right. So, man, I love a lot of this. I really do. The melodies are phenomenal. There's great catchiness to them. They're just fire all around. The drumming is excellent. I love at the very beginning when they shifted from the eighth notes in two groupings and then had the bass kicks on each downbeat to emphasize that concept, and then they shifted to the groupings of three. Like, that whole rhythmic idea of synergizing an aspect of the guitar with the drums for a section of that was just phenomenal. Absolutely loved it. And then the melody writing just continued to get better as we went throughout the song. What I do wish, though, was that it was less riffing. And I know in some communities that might be a controversial thing to say, but I mean, you guys know, I love linear melodies. And I think they have some really great foundational items here, which they're utilizing as their entire song, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I would love to hear some of those become foundational elements with a linear melody put on top of it. And sometimes the growls take that place, but even those tend to be a bit loop-based, and they're also more of the rhythmic structure. Orbit Culture is another modern band with groove and growls. I mean, if it's like this, I'll check them out. And I think this song continues to solidify that Mellow Death is right up my alley. Synip said something about this being a good gateway band into growling, and I disagree with that at all. Especially since growling gets overshadowed so often, it never really takes the spotlight, so I think you can easily forget about it, but there's also probably half of this song with pure instrumental. There's no growling at all in them. So, yeah, I think this would be a fantastic track to introduce somebody into it and try to get them into growling. I don't know if there's anything else I could say. It was a phenomenal track that I think was just missing that one key thing, and that's just something linear to it. But yeah, everything was just, it was all a 10 out of 10 for me. We'll be moving on. We got something from Azzy. Says, make sure your volume is set where it's comfortable before you... Okay, I'm dropping y'all's volume a little bit. We'll bring it back up if it's too low. I don't want to blow y'all's ears out. The album is designed to be overwhelming at points, and I feel like it's at 110% loudness and very intentional. This is another of my top 5 albums from last year, and even though it's the shortest track on it, it's my favorite. The entire discography of the band is very meditative. So the band is called Low. The song is called More. Why is that so... Oh, yep, I knew I forgot something. I forgot to space out these things. Oh well. We're going to deal with that today. It's always something. And we'll see what's going on with Low and More. It's only 2 minutes long, and I hope my volume's set. Yeah, the stream is just... I have no idea what's going on with it. It is, I mean, the thing is that I'm sending more kilobytes per second than I normally allow for. I think it's trying to make up for it, but I was dropping frames like bonkers. I have no idea what just happened. Because I set it at 4,000 kilobytes as a bit rate, and we were pushing 7,000 there for some reason. I have no idea what happened. But we should be back. So, we have a 2-minute song here. Like I said, the volume may be a bit low. We'll see what happens. Let's see what's going on with this band low. Hmm. It's unique. I'll give him that. It is a strange combination, though. Like, on the surface, it's just a pop song. We have a pretty standard foundational thing. And yeah, it's thinking time. We have a pretty standard chordal foundational thing that's going on. We have a simple drum track that's keeping the rhythm, and then we have clean vocals on top of it with harmonies. It is a pop track, but it's really the production that elevates it into this avant-garde section for me, this experimental music. And specifically, it's how the vocal production differs so heavily from the musical production. We have vocals that seem very clear, almost like there's no compression put on them at all, and the music is super blown out. And it creates, as somebody said, an oppressive sound. Erbstein. It is just this. It's weighty, and I can feel it. Like, I had my volume turned down, and I could still feel the thumps, right? And to me, it reminds me a lot of lo-fi black metal. This could be lo-fi pop. If your comments are behind, you can hit the live button and get back up to speed. I don't know where the live button is. You can also just refresh the page or close the video and reopen it if you're in the app. But it should only be 15 to 20 seconds behind, I think. Like, there's going to be a lag, but it should not be 75 seconds. That's way too high. Oh yeah. So yeah, it's like lo-fi black metal where it's intentionally destroying the core timbre of these instruments to create a specific vibe, a specific atmosphere. And that is, black metal achieves that staticky kind of bleak black and white snow kind of vibe that I've talked about before with like Agaloc's album. But here, I don't know what it's doing for me. I believe it was done intentionally to achieve a specific vibe, and they've definitely have something unique here. I don't have the words to say what that was. I will say that the music was getting louder and louder as the song went on, and while the vocals were sitting above it at the beginning of the song, they were getting drowned out by the end of it. Maybe knowing what the lyrics are could change my perception of it, but I don't know. I'm really... Yeah, of course they don't put the lyrics here. Alright, I'm going to look up the lyrics real quick just because I'm curious. Low more lyrics. You gave what I should have lost. No, I gave more than what I should have lost. I paid more than what it would have cost. You have some of what I could have had. I want all of what I didn't have. Ooh, la 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 la. I don't know if there's a deep message to this one. There might not be. I'm not always specifically looking for deep messages. I'm looking for cohesion, right? I don't think the song's particularly deep, so I'm not going to be looking for something deep there, but I am going to try to find if there's anything that would be correlating to what the music did. I learned more than what they ever taught. They thought I could never pull it off. I saw more than what I ever sought. I should have asked for more than what I got. Yep. I'm not seeing anything that lines up here with these. I mean, I don't know, man. Like I said, it's not bad. It's different. It's different in a very similar way to lo-fi black metal, and I can't really get into that either. But I appreciate what they're going for. Low have always played around with minimalism. They started in the 90s as a reaction to fans wanting music to be loud, so they came out and tried to be as quiet as possible. Oh, well, that is a shift. Had me for a roller coaster. I thought you were going to say that bands wanted their music loud, so they blew out speakers. And then they're like, nope, they were like super quiet. They messed around with noise at times, and with the last couple of albums have become experimental in that aspect. Yeah. The video's even less relevant. Yeah, I mean it's an interesting texture. It almost feels foreign. Like I could see that because it's not like a crackle. It's not like the black metal static. But there is this distortion that's more like a warble, and it almost feels alien. It feels like an effect they would put on vocals of an alien species in a movie to showcase that their vocal cords don't work the same way ours do. And I think that's the album's called Hey What? That is a good summary. And I think that alien element is sort of the thing that makes it feel off to me. Like at least with black metal, the distortion they're using is something that I can relate to sonically. I have a presence for it. I have another sound that I can relate it to, but here I can't. It sounds completely foreign, and I think that's why I have a difficult time placing a vibe for it. All right, next up we got some finger food from the band SADIST. And this one comes from Synapse. That's some Italian prog death something metal. So I'm a bit concerned about that one. We'll see though. It's got prog in it. It's got Italian in it. Can't be too bad. Black metal isn't this was interesting. Black metal isn't. That's my take without the actual explanation. Okay. Let's dive into this and see what's going on. We got some SADIST. That's not black metal. Where are we going with this? I'm going to turn the volume back up. Okay. I like that little bass element there. Okay. Ooh. Bass is just shining through, man. That is a funky little cymbal rhythm. You know what's interesting is I love that line in the back. Yeah, I can agree on the thrashiness. I think this is the closest to finding an analogous vocal style to Tatiana from Ginger. It's definitely metal. Yeah. I'm glad we agree on that one. They really know when to put those creepy vibes in too, and I'm not cool with that. But yeah, like it sounds like a mix between like a fry and a guttural, and it kind of leaves me in that area again, kind of guessing. You know, sometimes it leans one way, sometimes it leans the other, but I don't actually know what's going on with these vocals. And this is just what. And that almost had like an electronic thing to it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to dig into some SADIST. I don't know what's going on here, but aside from like the super creepy interludes, I'm really enjoying this. It has great mood, great vocals. Like I said, they're kind of a mix between fries and gutturals. It's like a low fry. And that just works so much better for my ears than a growl does, while still achieving like that same kind of vibe, that same kind of texture. And it's paired with some phenomenal bass work, some interesting rhythmic ideas, some really good guitar stuff, and I just I'm kind of hoping that when I dig into one of their albums, their lyrical content is just a little lighter. This is pretty much airing into some horror genre. Might need to turn the volume up slightly. Okay, done. Um, yeah, eclectic, definitely. And a strong combination or a strange combination of a lot of stuff, like adding in some of these more like chill vibes in here. I couldn't help but laughing though at that bridge right before the final chorus, and we have this nice chill like guitar thing going on. It's just like some real nice vibes, a little creepy, but nice, right? Especially compared to a lot of the aggressive stuff we had heard prior to that. And there's like, so how are we gonna transition back into the chorus? And they're like, I don't know. Let's just hold the last clean note out and then just go right into it. And it and it's like they even held the note out. So it's like they had this idea that they could have done like a fade in of the I mean it would have been cliche, right? But a fade in of the distorted guitar sound to bring us into the next section, and we would have had this clean the clean note fading out just on the release of the attack, and having this other one fade in, just this very cliche crossfade though on it. And that would have been fine. They're like, nope, we're just gonna hold this clean note out and then bam, going into the next stuff. Oh man. But yeah, just I mean, the thing is too is that some of the time while I was listening to that, I was like, this is what would happen if Colosseum made metal music. Right? You guys remember Colosseum? I think we've only listened, or maybe the band, maybe the song was called Colosseum. I don't know how to spell Colosseum. Yeah, it is Colosseum 2. The song was called Dark Side of the Moog. This reminded me of that, but with really harsh textures, right? Really harsh guitar tones and growls. But the bass work was very similar. There's a lot of jazziness going on in here, especially with some of the rhythmic ideas in the drums. Um, it's really bonkers and all over the place, and I love it. Jazz fusion meets metal, I think, is how I would how I would do this. Death jazz fusion. That sounds like a horrible genre name. But yeah, that's where it's got me thinking, and I really enjoy that for some reason. It just works. It all comes together for me. And like I said, the vocals are usually the thing that breaks some of these heavier tracks for me, and they work. And the last thing I want to say, just real quick, is theme. Right? Musically, I think they're on theme. Lyrically, they're on theme. Just at least with this song specifically, it all comes together. We got creepy lyrics, we got creepy music, and they still kept like this progressive, jazzy death metal going on, or black metal. I can't say I could pull that off, and they made it seem so easy. Next up, we got we got Johnny's. That's why he told me to check the volume. Something very different than what's usually requested. Extremely emotional vocals and lyrics, incredible display of raw emotion musically. If possible, pay more attention to the lyrics than you normally would. So let me pull these lyrics up. Did they put them in the description? Oh, they did. How nice of them. I'm going to copy paste these into a text file. And I guess I'll run along with these while the thing's playing. That should work well. Alright, so we have ILLENIUM and Emma Grace. I don't think I know Emma Grace. For some reason, when I added this to the list, I thought it was Emma Ruth Rundle, but now that I've said it out loud, I'm like, that is not who I was thinking of. So I think this is going to be pretty interesting, especially since Johnny said it's going to be different. So let's dive into this. I have the volume cranked in all areas for you guys, so hopefully it's loud enough. And let's go.
I couldn't sleep all last night. It's been 2 years since you left my life. Oh, I know you're stuck on the other side, but I hope this time that you'll finally say goodbye. But for now, I'll sing the songs that'll rip you from my memory.
Such a huge echo on this.
Sometimes I wanna forget. Here's to your brave soul. You fought but you lost hold, and now I'm alone to face the truth. You left me broken, shattered to pieces, and how can I go on without you? And I know you're shining ever so bright.
That low rumble. Does everything have this wide reverb on it?
I'm trying to go on without you. I dreamt of you last night. It's been 10 years since
I don't know if that's intentional or not, but just want to kind of groove to this now, and I feel like it's still a pretty sad song though.
I'll sing the songs that'll keep you in my memories. I hope I won't forget. Here's to your brave soul.
Oh man, we didn't go super big.
Now I'm alone to face the truth. You left me broken, shattered to pieces, and how can I go on without you? And I know you're shining.
There it is.
Ever so brightly. Won't you lead me through the night? Here's to your brave soul.
Interesting.
I'm trying to go on without you. Trying to
It's a very full sounds. Enjoy the food. Alright, Virginian, enjoy your lunch, dinner, whatever time it is. Hello, Noel. Welcome here for the few minutes you got. I'm kind of torn on this song. Like, The production's phenomenal. I don't think I could say anything bad about it. We have all that ridiculous reverb at the beginning that makes it feel like she is a tiny person in a humongous room, which must be what the weight of this the sorrow is for her, right? And there's a couple of moments that I really felt like her vocals, she was gonna have that crack, that break in them, to kind of have that extra bit of sadness, of sorrow inside of them. And I was really with this song right up until that last minute and a half. I thought it was phenomenal. I thought there's a really great amount of emotion in it. The dance beat kind of threw me off. I felt like it was a bit out of place. I'm gonna get to that in a second, though. Give me a second. And then the last minute, I was like, nope, I don't get it. Right? I think the last minute really undermined a lot of the emotional aspect of the song. And that is true. I still believe that's true. But I think it was done intentionally. We can look through a couple of these lines, and I mean, right at the beginning, 30 seconds into the song, she says, I'll sing the songs that rip you from my memories because sometimes I want to forget. And I think that's what the dance aspects are. I think it was Stringhead told me a while ago that in their culture they have the idea of dancing the pain away, which is why even sad songs tend to have a dancing element to them. It helps you work through the pain in a physical manner. And the song, as Johnny just put, is about moving on, right? And getting past that. And I think that's what the last dubstep section means to me, is forgetting the sorrow or moving past the sorrow and getting to the next step in the grieving process. Art of Circle says, I think the melodic dubstep sections have emotions to them. It's like rising to the challenge of moving. Yeah, okay, so I can see that too. And, but like, I think this is one of those things though where it's a very different style of music for me. Like, I don't quite have the ears to properly critique it because much like some genres we've had on the channel, I'm applying rules and ideas from a genre that is not it. And this other genre doesn't really want to play around with conventional ideas as much. And for me to apply conventional ideas to it is meeting it not on its own terms. And I think that's why, a couple of you guys said, there's a lot of emotion. I don't hear a lot of emotion in the final section. And to me, it's a dance beat. The emotion I get out of it is just energy. It's just, move your feet. It's generic dance music to me. That's not to say that I don't hear nuance in it at all. I hear a lot of production nuance. I hear some really cool production techniques. The panning, the reverb, the way that the drum beat cuts into that super fuzzy foundational element and causes it to have to come back from zero and build back up every time that bass kick hits. There's some really cool stuff on the production level there, but the emotion I'm getting from it, and I think a lot of that's just I don't have a lot of time with electronic music to get the nuances of the style. Especially, I say electronic music and I know that covers, hundreds of genres too. So the thing is, I think the drop is something you either like or don't. It's electronic and that doesn't always carry. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. Maybe it's something that I can learn to perceive. And maybe something it's not. I don't know. I'd like to assume that all music can be learned. I've spoken a lot that music is a language. Once you know what it's saying, you can begin to feel and interpret it. So I want to say that everybody could pick up what's going on here eventually. But Music is just, yes, we do need an electronic music week. And I think I've tried to push it through a couple of times. I'm pretty sure it has an X next to it, which means that it's been in a poll before. Wait, I don't have, we've done yeah, we've done electronic before. Just electronic overall. Recently too. That's where we did I can't remember. I remember it though. It wasn't that long ago. Alright, man, gotta dip. See you in a bit. Alright, so you're with me on this one. Yeah, it's and I think more often than not in this community, I think some more people might be with me on this one, and it's because we are more of a rock and metal oriented group that branches out in a lot of different ways. Like I've always talked about how eclectic the tastes of this community are. There are some really cool suggestions that I don't think many people know about that I've been referred to or requested to check out. But at the heart of it, it's a very rock and metal oriented group. So I think that electronics just gonna, much like pop, we don't get a lot of pop requests in the community. So a week two, yeah, for sure. We need a week two on a lot of stuff. And I think it's just one of those things that hopefully I can go on the journey with you guys of exploring and becoming more well-rounded of a listener for some of these genres like pop and electronic. Where is Sigh? Would you guys be opposed if we bumped up Sigh one spot? Rather than doing Sheshet next, we'll do Sigh for Sigh Nips before he heads out. Let me see if I can do this real quick. I'm going to try to do a neat little trick here where I don't mess up. Alright, so if we do that, so we have Sheshet, and then I do this. This will be tricky, but I think I got it. Bam, and then bam, and then this one comes from, oh, that's tiny. This one comes from Cynical Matt, just says, I love Sigh a lot. Alright, so we're going to check this one out. It's called Hail, Horror, Hail. Interesting. Let's see what Sigh is bringing to the table today. Oh, I got to turn this down a little. Man, talk about lo-fi. Just a massive contrast from what we just listened to. So this definitely feels like hard rock mixed with second wave black metal. This is a weird thing right here. Loving this guitar solo. Do they have a keyboardist? That growl is wild. Very interesting. Alright, I'm going to pause the video for a second. I might even back it up a little bit. Alright, signups, have a good rest of your evening. It looks like we're overcompensating, so we should line back up in a second. And so yeah, this track is getting fairly interesting. It felt like pretty typical black metal production. Hello everybody, welcome back. That was very sad to see in real time. I didn't get to see the lag, but I certainly saw the issues. I'm going to back this up a little bit so we can check this out, because they went into a very interesting direction. So let's I'm gonna back it up like a minute and a half. Let's go. That growl is just wild. The jet lag joke from the visual lag. Yeah, so I mentioned a piano. Said they have a flute, but here they have a full string section. There's the flute, actually. Very interesting cut right there, too. Filling this space up. There's some really interesting things going on in the production too. And this almost has like a punk vibe to it. This track, it's all over the place, and it is just in the funnest way, really. Yeah, so that sounds nothing like my introduction to Sigh that we checked out previously, which was pretty faithful to sort of that bridge between first and second movement of black metal, first and second wave. This is just, what in the world? We start out with some hard rock. We go into this almost like classical stuff. And then we finish out with what only sounds like pop to me, or sorry, punk. It even has the now cliche. I don't know when this came out. I know Sigh came out in the 80s, but I don't have a date for this specific song. But I mean that very generic eighth note idea, like like just so punk. Such a staple of like pop punk writing right there. And then, but mixing all of this with the black metal, super crunchy, super distorted, super narrow production. And it feels so weird. And if this is what Sigh became after emulating some of their favorite black metal stuff from the 70s, I'm down for listening to more of them. I kind of remember some comments in the Sigh video that they went more experimental, but I didn't know it was like this. And I'm real curious about that middle section. Like the flute and guitar part, I thought was real beautiful. I could see them doing it, but what's going on with the strings? This is from 97. Okay. So yeah, that would predate, at least what I think would be the adoption of that super stereotypical punk idea. So it wouldn't have been as prevalent at 97. And like the harsh transitions from the acoustic guitar and flute to the strings and back. And was the strings a sample? I think that's a question I have because they sound very familiar. I don't know if they were emulating something. They also just kind of sounded like standard melodically swelling string movements. So it could just be that, but I wonder if they were specifically sampling a score or something. Just all in all, I have a lot of questions here. It's a very eclectic mix of sounds and genres into a song that does not feel cohesive, except for the production. I think the production does hold it together a little bit, but I can't say I enjoyed it enough to listen again. It wasn't samples that, wow, okay. Did they, I mean, I don't know how knowledgeable you are about this. I'm going to ask a very specific question though. Do they play the strings or did they hire musicians? I think that's something I have questions about. I don't know if this is accurate. It says this album was way beyond the conceived notion of metal or music. In essence, it is a movie without pictures. Accordingly, the film jumps and another scene, seemingly unconnected with the previous context, is suddenly inserted in between frames. Every sound on the album is deliberate. If you find some parts on the album that are strange, it isn't because the music is strange, it's because your conscious self is ill-equipped to comprehend the sounds produced. I don't think that is a bad description of this. It does feel like random aspects interjected into, like random scenes interjected between other scenes, but we're all filmed on the same hardware, which is kind of the analogy of it all having that black metal production, but the genres themselves seem out of place. And there's no connective tissue between the three sections here. They just kind of happen abruptly. We just switch to them. So yeah, this is something that makes me more interested in Sigh. I would love to check out this album, but it's not something that I think I'm going to return to. It's more of those, I've experienced it, now I'm good kind of vibes, but I'm definitely intrigued by it. Alright, so now we're going to be moving on to Sheshet, which I hope I'm saying right. And did I do this correct? Bam! Alright, so Noel suggested this one. The song's called Debka. They're a Prague Israeli band from 77. The only album ever recorded because the band disbanded after, since they didn't get any commercial success. I mean, Sheshet, like that. Got that emphasis on the beginning. Sheshet. Oh, no, okay. I thought we were going to start lagging again. Getting a little concerned there. We've only got 3 songs left, Internet. Hold it together. Oh, cool. Alright. Oh, wait, no, we're back in the red. Don't do that to me. Alright, I don't know what's going on with the Internet. We're going to try to burn through these 3 before the Internet completely dies. Alright, so we got Sheshet and Debka. Oh, we've done this band before, haven't we? This album art looks familiar. It's got an Irish jig for a, what do you say this came from? Israel. That's beautiful. Oh. Yeah. Yes. Ooh, yeah. Oh, just the shortest amount of drop on that. So good. Those syncopated hits are real fun. Yeah, so there's a lot of really interesting syncopated ideas in here alongside these really smooth melodic ideas. Yeah, we got that nice hocket there with the beautiful production on it too. Everybody is... Yeah, right? I knew this was going to be up your alley. This is some straight up jazz fusion. So good. The bass presence right here. I don't even know whose solo it is. The bass and the piano are both going. It has the drums are just giving it a ton of energy with just the lightest touch. Like I've mentioned before, jazz drumming. Yeah, the dynamics at work here. Yeah, so the tom volume was not changing at all, but the snare was, and to have those little micro dependencies or micro interactions with the drums is just... I can't express how awesome that was. Yeah, so we have note harmony as well as texture layering going on here. Just real gorgeous. Oh, interesting. Traditional dance music called Debka. Very cool. Yeah, that is some context I did not have going into it. So I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, that is the last song that we checked out from them also was their interpretation of something, wasn't it? Their interpretation of a tradition. I don't remember what the song was, but we gotta look into that sometime. Because I'm pretty sure it also had to do with something along those lines. But yeah, just phenomenal work. Their harmony writing, great. Actually, being that it's their take on traditional dance music, how much of that is... Okay, nope, never mind. I'm not gonna go there because I think that's not a good avenue to go down. So I love their melodic writing, their harmonizing, their solos. I mean, there's so many linear melody parts here in the solos, right? And they even had a section where I wasn't sure if it was the bass or the piano soloing. They both had linear melodic elements to them, and it just really stood out as a phenomenal section to me, having two instruments do independent solos that come together perfectly. I don't know if they're improvised or not, but it was just a really great section right there. And even like introducing other ideas like the Hocket into it with the vocal section there at the end. And given that it's 77, also the musical production. In that same Hocketed section, we have the panned vocals, but then we have vocals that seem like they're very far in front of us. There's a nice distance to them. And they're lower in volume, which helps with the feeling of distance, but they're also like angular. And something I've talked about a lot in these 70 prog bands is that the panning feels like it's either centered or it's out to the sides. I've always said that I've never really felt any prog bands around this time doing something that feels like modern panning where it still has a range to it. It's not just 100% to the sides. And this group, I think, did it. And I don't know how. Maybe, I don't know how. Maybe a lot of the, maybe it was more prominent in the late 70s and I just haven't heard as much prog from then. A lot of the prog rock might have been from the earlier 70s you guys have had me listen to. But yeah, they nailed the panning element. And, yeah, the production's tight. The playing is super tight. And I think that's my biggest thing is that it sounds like it was all recorded in one take on a tape recorder, like they would have been doing it around this time. And it's just so clean, so perfect. There's no little flubs going on. And I know that sounds weird coming from the guy who says, I love imperfections in music. And I do. But it's also equally impressive to listen to somebody just do something perfectly. Like that's one of the big draws of modern prog metal and like tech death to me is just the tight perfectionist playing that goes into performing these songs. Stuff like Animals as Leaders or Archspire. I think that's the band. I don't remember. So yeah, I definitely appreciate both ends of the spectrum, and this, just the perfection in this and just really nailing it down on what sounds like a first take. The pianist and the flutist are the same player. He was trading solos with himself. Oh, okay. So it was piano and bass, but he was trading off solos when they were doing the alternating piano and flute. That's impressive, especially if done in real time, which I would assume they would have done. Which is just, yeah, that's wild. I mean, I've had to play two instruments before, but usually within the same family. I don't think I've ever had to, well, no, because like when you do auxiliary percussion, you bounce around between a lot of stuff, but it's still all mostly mallets. So yeah, to go between keyboard to flute, I mean, that's an impressive switch right there in my mind. Yeah, just all around, fantastic song. We're going to dive into some Hey Smith. This one was requested by Dustin. 5-piece group with 2 vocalists that also play guitar, a drummer, a trumpet player, saxophonist, and in later albums they had a trombone. So I think I'm already sold on this. I don't know what kind of music they're playing, but I love the lineup. The song's called I Hate Nukes. Let's dive into this.
Hey guys, what's your dreams?
I want to be a baseball player. I want to marry with the beautiful girl.
I want to be an actor in the future.
Oh,
I hate the Nukes, I hate the Nukes, I hate the Nukes, I hate. I hate the Nukes, I hate the Nukes, I hate the Nukes, I hate. So tell me now, how far away we don't get it, when you ever said to be. So tell me now, how far away we don't get it. I hate the Nukes, I hate the Nukes.
There we go. impressive note there at the end. Yeah, I mean it's a 90-second song after we cut off the intro section, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's pretty standard punk. This is, see, we've had this conversation before, and I still don't have a full clarification on what ska is. I think that this is not ska, if I remember that conversation correctly. But to me, I would label this as ska. Hey, Virginia, welcome back. You've missed some wild stuff, but you're just in time for the final song, which we're going to get into as soon as I get done talking about this one from Hey Smith. Pretty standard ska punk. Okay, so I was right about that. Because I thought we got into a conversation for like ska was like laid back and closer to reggae, and there were some examples you guys showed me in the Discord. So I think this was, like you said, this is punk with like ska ideas in it. Oh, so you actually did get chicken nuggets. I remember you said that, and I kind of thought it was like a joke, like, gonna go get the... Oh, you said tendies. I gotcha. So you didn't get any tenders, you got nuggets. Well, that's a shame. You get less protein, more breading that way. Anyways, yeah, so pretty standard song. I won't say that it was really pushing any boundaries. It did what it did very well. It had a lot of energy, very danceable, had some really nice trumpet lines to it. I did not hear the saxophone, though. It probably was just playing what the trumpet was and just kind of getting blended into that sound. And the guitars were like super powerful. I really didn't pick up much bass either, so it could have just been an instrument that got drowned out. And, you know, he shouted his main idea out. He hates nukes. Nah, man. I don't know that. I don't know that. If I'm going to be eating something in the chicken nugget or tender area, I'm going to aim for tenders. Get more of the good stuff and less of the breading. In fact, I'd even say that chicken patties are the best. Optimize that protein. Oh man. So yeah, I don't know if I have anything real critical to add to this one. It's a good punk song, some really nice brass work, and I mean a very clear statement as to what the song is about. So unsub, lost a patron. I saw it coming. I was like I'm gonna be shaking some boulders. No, I'm gonna be shaking some. I don't know what that phrase is. Well, we're making it up. I'm gonna be shaking some boulders with that statement. I'm coining that phrase. Rustle some feathers, I think, is what I was thinking of. Oh, I need some sleep. And the bad thing is, I've only been up for like 4 hours. I'm already ready for sleep. Alright, and our last one today. We got some Tiger Moth Tales Storyteller. And this one was requested by... Oh, Virginian! Oh, man, perfect timing. I don't know what this is about, but I enjoy it, so here you go. Alright. I apologize about the... Oh, the internet's finally coming back. I have no idea what's going on with this today. Let's dive into this last song and hopefully get by before the internet completely dies. Well, I'm going to wait a second for the internet to stabilize so that you guys can actually listen to this final song. I think that's fair. There we go. Maybe it was trying. Alright, you know what? I think we're just going to roll with it. Let's go.
upon a time is how it all began. Pictures from the mind of a woman or a man. Words from the pen, we read them again.
Well, I suppose that's, I'll stop moving. I hope this makes the video easier to watch.
Cobbled streets of stone, scenes of time gone by, or futures yet unknown. Words on the page, the players on the stage, and you're there.
Yeah, this is gorgeous though. I'm not sure if that's a joke that went over my head or not. I will say the vocalist sounds very familiar though. But it also has a bit of it like the generic rock ballad kind of voice. Like a popular rock ballad.
Or deserts grim and cold. From riverbanks to wild woods, the tales are always told. The bonds they weave so fine, just like the hands of time.
Gotcha.
They fly.
Ooh. Yeah, I heard the buzz of the synth come in. That is a very crisp snare. Very playful.
So let's sit round and tell the tales.
What?
Of bravery.
When did we turn into Coco Melon?
Witches, fairies, elves and dwarves, and all my swimming in the tea. The good will all end happily, the bad will get their due. The prince will get the princess and live happily ever after too. Faces so familiar, the morals learned so
Oh
well.
man.
They're here with us forever, always stories that we can tell. And when we're gone, the story will live on and on. Old or new, they become a part of you. And even though
Really going for this big ballad ending here, but interesting way to build into it with that child storybook section.
Just how the story goes, the story
Yeah, I was waiting for that warm resolution. Yeah, that was gorgeous. I don't know that I have much to add other than that it was gorgeous. Just, it's really cool how it bounced between all those different ideas. We had, if he's not influenced by Morris, I'll eat my hat. I mean, who? Neil Morris, right? Neil Morris Band, right? Is that who I'm thinking of? Or am I wrong? That was the 30-minute song we listened to, right? What was the theme that we stayed in? Because I was legit gonna call this one the choppy video stream. I didn't really catch a theme in the music, but to be honest, I've been panicking very quietly on the inside about this choppy video. But yeah, just beautiful ballad sections. I loved the synth solo. Nothing about it really stood out to me other than the fact that it was just it captured my mind the whole time, right? Oh, I gotcha. Um, it captures my mind, right? It took me for the ride throughout the entire solo in that middle section, and I enjoyed it. It was a nice linear solo section with some nice flourishes to it. It sounded like he had one of those the pitch wheels to give it those little fine movements, give it a little bit of vibrato in some sections. Very much just like a prog ballad that we've heard before with other bands. What is that Neil Morse band? Am I spelling Neil wrong? Let me just look up Morse. Oh, I was spelling. Yeah. Yeah, Alive Again. Yep. Oh, yeah, you know what? Now that I'm remembering that a little bit more clearly. Yeah, that was actually a phenomenal song. I do hear the inspiration or the likeness. Yeah. But yeah, I can hear a lot of like a prog ballad idea in a lot of parts in these. I can hear the prog synth solo idea here. So it does, at least to me, feel like a song that sort of replicates or showcases these person's influences very heavily. Definitely what I would call an iterative band rather than an innovative band. But I don't think that's bad. Another song, he sounds exactly like Peter Gabriel. Yeah, so this guy definitely loves his prog stuff. And again, that's not bad. You know, it's what is it they call it? Emulation is the best form of flattery. I don't know. My brain's not working for the for these ideas today. Pulling out these phrases. He was with Spock's Beard. He's in the supergroup Transatlantic. I've heard of Transatlantic. Spock's Beard. That's a name right there. But yeah, I really enjoyed this for what it was. I don't know that I would necessarily seek out more of this just because I have a lot of prog rock classics, right? The staples of the genre to go explore. But if I was a huge prog rock fan and I've already listened to all the stuff from Genesis and Yes and King Crimson and all the big names, I probably would check out some of this because he takes a lot of the stuff that I've heard and kind of reworks into different combinations of sounds or different ordering of sections and stuff like that. I mean, even putting that little kid story time element there in the middle was kind of a stroke of genius. It kind of worked well with the timbres that we already had, even if I think it was an odd choice. I do think it worked well. Imitation, that's it. Imitation, not emulation, is the best form of flattery. Oh, Neil Morris was in Spock's beard in Transatlantic. That makes more sense. I was going to say, I've heard of Transatlantic. And this guy seems to be, he only has 100 subscribers. So definitely seems to be a bit more of a smaller group, this Tiger Moth Tales. But yeah, like I was saying, if I've really dug into a lot of what prog rock has to show, I would love this. This would be right up my alley. But, you know, as it stands, like I said, I have a lot of history to catch up on for the genre, so I can't really put Tiger Moth Tales near the top because it does sound like imitation. And gotta check out the originals first. So thanks everybody for sticking around with this choppy video edition of Critical Live Streams. I'm going to try to get this internet thing figured out. Apparently, see, the thing was Twitch has been giving me a lot of issues with streaming consistency as well. And I thought it was just Twitch because we've never had problems with it with YouTube. But I guess today we have problems with it with YouTube. So, I don't know. Maybe my router is going bad and I finally have to upgrade. Which, man, kind of mixed on that. I've been putting off the upgrade because it's a bit expensive for what I would want. But I also kind of want to upgrade. I'm still on Wi-Fi 4, whatever N is. I think 5 was AC and 6 was AX. So yeah, I'm like a decade behind on Wi-Fi hardware. So I could probably do with the new router. Although with my luck, it's probably a bad modem. Means I got to deal with the internet provider. And I don't get a nice upgrade. But I can't justify upgrading the router if it's not broken. It's still going strong. Anyways, like I said, thanks everybody for coming out. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And get pumped for next week. We got some colors coming in with King Crimson, I think, is going to be leading the week. Oh, I don't even have the page pulled up. I'm pretty sure King Crimson's still in the lead, though. I don't know. All right. Then, like I said, see you guys next week. Have a good rest of the day. And thanks for sticking with me on this kind of rough, this kind of rough one. See ya.